Hello seekers, welcome to Punneit Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. Mars has entered the sign of Cancer. Cancer is the sign of debilitation for Mars, and it's a very emotional zodiac sign. Being a very emotional and very sentimental zodiac, Mars finds actually an adverse condition in this particular zodiac. Mars is the planet of masculinity, Mars is fighting spirit, Mars is willpower, and Mars is ability to interact with tough situations, whereas Cancer is the homeliness, the comfort of home, the comfort of motherland. It is the Sukh Bhav in the Kal Purush belt. So it is more or less a leisure house, the house where you are very much in your comfort. Mars does not like this comfort zone because battles are not fought in the beauty of your own home. Battles are fought in the front lines between the blood and sweat, taking the hits, and that's what Mars loves. But when Mars goes into this particular zodiac, definitely Mars will have its own agenda here. Mars will have its own energy placement here. We will try to understand ascendant by ascendant what is this energy, how it is going to affect you. Stay tuned till the end, and do not forget to hit like, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell icon so that you never miss another update. Ascendant number 1, Aries Ascendant. In case of Aries Ascendant, if you observe, the position of Mars is 4th from your own house. That means your Ascendant Lord is controlled by Mars, and you are the Ascendant of determination, you are the Ascendant of passion, you are the Ascendant who fights for its own right, who wants to achieve, who wants to create. And this Mars, which is your Ascendant Lord, goes debilitated in the 4th house, definitely, which means that you are in high need of rest right now. And enjoy this, take it as a vacation, and this will be the time when you should try to connect more with your country, with the issues of your country, try to be in service to your mother, and try to find out a more comfortable way to execute the task that you are already doing. If you don't do that, if you try to fight the comfort, then what it will do, Mars will try to make you uncomfortable, and it will create, because this is the kind of time where you want to sleep but you're resisting sleep. See, understand that condition. You want to sleep but you're resisting sleep. Your body is going to go under tremendous amount of changes, and body will feel a lot of stress. The exact similar amount of stress will be faced by you. Mars 4th aspect will fall on the 7th house, so definitely this is somewhat not the time when you will confront on your marriage issues. This is the time when you go easy on your business, and this is the time when you are also affected by your surroundings. So it's best that you have a very comfortable surrounding around you, and try to create a leisure-like environment. Already we are working from home, we are in the comfort of our own home, but what you should do is try to remove any dark color theme that you are already having in your own home. So if you have a dark red or scarlet red, say curtains or sofa or something that you see often, you need to change it. Maybe add a cover to it some way. Remove the blood red color that you see daily from your own eyes. That will be slightly helpful in addressing the issues. Red is not the color that you want to focus right now, because when Mars, which is red in color, goes into a water sign of Cancer, it turns out to be pink or liquid red, faded red in color. The only thing here is that Mars will be aspected by 10th house Saturn. So definitely your career is going to make you slightly uncomfortable. That is why you need this mind to work positively, and you need to calm down. Retrograde Saturn in the 10th house definitely is going to create insecurities in your own career, and you will be in a position where you don't want to work because you're so frustrated, or it is a situation where your mind is not 100%. You're not able to give your 100%. At that time, pray to Lord Hanuman. Chanting Hanuman Chalisa daily will definitely help you in that case. And another thing is that Mars, when it was in the sign of Gemini, it was under the aspect of Jupiter. But the problem now is, because Mars is now in the sign of Cancer, which is in fact the exaltation house of Jupiter, so definitely there will be Jupiterian influence here. But the 8th aspect of Mars falls on Jupiter. That means you might not focus on the knowledge that you get, you might become so complacent, so laid back in your approach that it might affect your career and source of income. So you have to be on your toes, still being comfortable. So it's like you are not allowing your body to sit on the bed for long, but you are ready to walk, you are ready to jog, you're ready to run, but you are also buying some comfortable sneakers that will give you relief. So it's comfort plus hard work. Absolute comfort is going to be detrimental to your career as well as to your source of income. Your expectations will not be met, or I will say you will change your expectation. You will say, nah, I don't want. Procrastination will creep in. That will be bad for you. Overall, this is going to be a very laid back, very casual, very calm transit for you. You might feel slightly weak, underconfident at this time. Lethargy will also come, but all these things can be managed quite easily just by bringing a lot of activity. Do yoga, do pranayam, and chant Hanuman mantra. Bring Hanuman yantra in your home. Have a Hanuman Panchmukhi Hanuman photo in your mandir, home temple. That will also give you the necessary energy. Correct the vastu of your home if that is possible. Overall, for the Aries ascendant people, I will say that the transit of Mars is going to be a mixed result, because on one hand it is trying to give you the comfort, on the other hand it is also trying to upset you. Why? Because one more reason is that the Scorpio rules your 8th house, and the 8th lord is also in the 4th house. So definitely changes related to your home, changes related to your car can happen, forceful changes. So if you want to buy a property, if you want to buy a car, if you want to buy a huge, or if you want to invest huge amount of money, be very careful in this time frame. If possible, try to avoid this couple of months till Mars is in the sign of Cancer, or take necessary precaution and plan. You should have a very concrete plan on what you have to do, how things can go wrong, and what will be your measures to mitigate anything that can actually go wrong in the future. If you can handle all those things, you are good to go. So overall, I will say it's a thumbs up for Aries ascendant, provided you maintain certain amount of precaution. So ascendant number 2, Taurus ascendant. In case of Taurus ascendant, see, Rahu is on your first house, and it will be in your first house throughout the journey of Mars in the sign of Cancer. Mars is your 12th lord, and Mars is also your 7th lord. So definitely these two houses are associated with business, import, export, marriage, anything that is connected to the foreign country, your travel to a foreign country. And when it goes in the 3rd house, definitely it shows that it is going to impact all those areas. Mars is Digbali in the 3rd house. Mars gains directional strength. It gains a lot of strength in the 3rd house. 3rd house is the house of courage. But when Mars goes debilitated in the 3rd house, it starts creating doubt in your own mind. It will create doubt, and it will create fear of losses. And because you will have fear that you may lose something, you may put some extra unnecessary effort just out of emotion. That you have to avoid. Rahu in the house of in the nakshatra of Rohini in the 1st house is also going to create anxiety, issues that is related to insecurities, and that insecurity will drive you to do or take certain action that is just out of sheer emotions and not because of proper analysis. So whatever you do, you have to do proper analysis, and only then you should take necessary action. Saturn in the 9th house is going to aspect the 3rd house, so definitely you need to be very careful while traveling. If possible, avoid travel for the next 2 months. You have to be very careful while driving. You have to be very careful while trusting somebody. All these things might come actually negative to you. Overall, if you see, the area that is most impacted is marriage and your subconscious mind. So things can cook in your mind, things can run in your mind, behind your mind, and you may doubt a lot of things in your life. What you have to do? Always have an analytical mind. Somewhat it will be difficult when Mars is in Cancer, but still, given enough attempt and given your horoscope supports it, this transit is going to be beneficial to you. Overall, because of the Rahu's presence and Ketu's presence in the 1-7 axis, this is not good for business and marriage. For a certain time period, you need to avoid any major investment, any major decision. Any new venture should be avoided in this time frame. And you should donate more water and give food to poor people. That will help a lot in this time frame. Overall, this will be an emotionally roller coaster ride for you. Not so negative, not so positive, but if you can contain your emotion and if you work with an analytical mindset, I think you're good to go. Ascendant number 3, Gemini Ascendant. In case of Gemini Ascendant, if you see, the position of Mars will be in the second house. So definitely this is going to impact the food that you eat. It is also called Kutumba Bhav. So it shows that some emotional upheaval can happen in the family. So you have to be very careful how you communicate with your family. If you have some emotional issues, try to open up with a family member with whom you are very close. You can definitely see some sort of disharmony happening in the home. You might feel helpless. You might want to speak up, but you will not get the avenue to speak. So in that case, if you don't get avenues to speak up, write it in a piece of paper and hand it over to God. It's like you're talking to the universe. In this time frame, talking to self is going to be very important. You need to ask yourself, you need to talk to yourself, you need to discuss things with yourself, and that is going to give you a lot of understanding about your own identity, about your own self, what you like and what you dislike. Saturn is retrograde from the 8th house, and that is aspecting the second house. So definitely financially, this is going to be a time where invested money will save you from lack of savings. So some money that you have invested, so something can come up that will help you recover from a financial loss, or if you are already in a financial crunch. Chanting Mahalakshmi mantra in this time frame, Shri Suktam, is going to be very, very helpful. If you see, 12th house Rahu is definitely going to increase expense. What you should do, you should be very careful about your expenses. Otherwise, you will have to break some investment, and then that investment will be used to cover up the expenses. Like somebody is selling off, breaking his FD or selling off the home to pay the expense that he is stuck in. Be careful of those expenses, and you can also bring Kuber Yantra in your home and chant Kuber Mantra. That is also going to be helpful in this time frame. Mars 4th aspect will be on the 5th house. So definitely this is the time frame when you are more concerned about your children, more concerned about your productivity. Financial difficulties will obviously create some tension, will make you uncomfortable, and this is the time frame when you only try to save money as much as possible. It's not like absolutely negative transit, but when Mars goes into Ashlesha Nakshatra, money can be spent in medicine and healing. That will be an unnecessary expense that you have to avoid. Pray to Lord Hanuman also to give you that necessary power, the necessary boost. Be very careful about what you eat. This is the house this is the house that controls food. 4th house is also the house of nutrition. This is the house which controls what you eat. This is the food. This is the house of intake. This is also the house that determines what you speak and what will be the result of your speech. All these things are getting dominated by Mars. No emotional eating, no binge eating. Be careful of your diet. Be careful of your health. Mars 8th aspect will also fall on the 9th house, which means you may avoid suggestions by a guru. You may avoid divine intervention. You may ignore them. This is not absolutely not the time to ignore any kind of divine healing or divine intervention. You should go with the flow and be careful of getting awake all night. That is going to be detrimental to your health, especially to the male fraternity. Mars overall position in the second house is going to make you slightly concerned about the money that you have and the amount of wealth that you have. Don't pull out your invested wealth just because you thought that there's another avenue where you can invest and gain money. Otherwise, overall, this is going to be an average transit for you. You need to act rationally in this time frame and speak rationally. Don't become vulnerable, because with your voice you will come across as a vulnerable person. 7th house coming under Papkartari and double retrogression and trapping the 7th house is also going to be bad for marriage. And this is also to certain kundlis it can be bad for the health of your spouse. All these areas has to be taken into consideration, and your relationship with your spouse should be harmonious. Jupiter is definitely aspecting the first house, so you are getting that information, but don't ignore the optimistic information that you get, the guidance that you get. Because if you ignore the guidance, you are actually handing your energy to Rahu, and that is going to unsettle you from the 12th house. Clean your home. Always eat clean, eat less. Do vrat on every Tuesday if it is okay for you medically. Clean your toilet and try to avoid black and dark brown colors if possible for you. Overall, for Gemini Ascendant, this transit is actually going to be a transit where you are more concerned, and that concern can actually prepare you and give you positive results in the future. Ascendant number 4, Cancer Ascendant. In case of Cancer Ascendant, Mars is on your first house, so you need to control your emotions. The head is going to be lightheaded. You will feel lightheaded. Sometimes you may feel dizzy. You need to take control of your blood pressure because emotional ups and downs can actually challenge you on that area. But because Mars is on Ascendant, it's not that negative. It's actually quite positive for you. You will have some concern and some issues about your career. You can address that in an optimistic way. This can be a good time to think and reevaluate your position in your office, your position in your status in your society, and how can you improve it. Just don't let greed become a reason for this particular change. You should not change your job, or you should not think of expanding your source of income because of greed. But because you're not getting what you should get and you think you deserve better, only then you should try to reevaluate the situation. Otherwise, just pass this 2 months of time as you are in vacation. Because 5th Lord is also in the first house, this will challenge your productivity. You might feel uncomfortable with what you are doing and the way you are doing. Being over complacent, being too relaxed is also one theme for Cancer Ascendant in this Martian transit. That may make you careless, that may make you avoid avoid obvious issues, obvious obstacles, and this can make you or put you in a situation where you will hit the obstacle and it will catch you off guard. The reason, Mars 8th aspect falls on Jupiter in the 8th house. All secret knowledge, all secret information will only unsettle you, or you will not give value to it. Whereas Saturn retrogression in the 7th house is going to put you into a situation. There are memes like if there's a child who has not studied and the next day is his examination, so he decides to sleep because he don't want to face the problem. Escaping is not a key here, but escaping will be a theme. So you should not escape, but handle the situation in a polite manner, in an optimistic manner, in a logical manner. If possible, take a divine help, and that should help you. Taking healing, pranic healing is also going to be helpful in this case. Overall, this is actually a positive transit. You just need to take it positively. Your emotions have to be handled carefully, especially when Moon will travel over sign of Scorpio, Moon will travel over the sign of Capricorn, and Moon will be in the sign of Taurus. When Moon transits these 3 zodiac signs for the next 2 months, you need to be extra careful on those days. Ascendant number 5, Leo Ascendant. In case of Leo Ascendant, Mars is actually in the 12th house. Now, this is definitely going to give you sleepless nights, and this might make you feel weak. It will make you feel insecure about what have you done in life. What can you lose? So fear of loss can creep into this time. Not good for people who are facing court cases, because Mars becomes weak in the 12th house, so defense goes weak in the 12th house. This is the time when the enemies can actually rise, and enemies can actually create some sort of disturbance or financial loss in this time frame. So you have to be very careful. Because of the Sun and Rahu conjunction in the 10th house, confrontation of any kind has to be avoided, because a weak Mars will will bring defeat and will always keep you on the toes and will make you uncomfortable. This is the time when this is the kind of Mars that goes and travels into the remote island and sips a cup of coffee, enjoys the nature. So you need to listen to the music of rainfall, and there are a lot of music available on YouTube. Try to listen and meditate on that, and try to relax as much as possible. Try to avoid any hard work during this time. This is the time when you can regenerate yourself. This is the time when you can rejuvenate your health, rejuvenate your energy, replenish your energy. Mars will go into the sign of Leo after its transit to the sign of Cancer. So definitely this is going to be, you will come back with a lot of fury, a lot of power. But now the power is absent. So don't even try to exercise power. Don't even try to gather power in this time frame. Too much of unnecessary effort will only bring losses, and it will only make you unhappy. So that is something that you have to avoid. Coming from the health perspective, anxiety, stress, depression can bring unnecessary health issues. You have to be very careful. Yoga is the best way. When you're running, try to wear good quality shoes, because this is the house of feet. Mars would want to run, but you may topple and twist your ankle if you have a bad planet in your 12th house in your own horoscope. Also, Mars 8th aspect on the 7th house is going to be actually bad for marriage, but not now. After 20th of June, it can be bad, because till 20th of June, Jupiter is direct in the 7th house in the sign of Aquarius. But after 20th of June, Jupiter will become retrograde on the 7th house. So this is going to create issues to people who are already facing court cases related to marriage, who are already facing divorce related circumstances in their life. It can be negative for you. Try to protect yourself for these 2 months. Avoid any kind of unnecessary confrontation, because that can escalate and you will become weak in this time frame. Otherwise, if you handle it positively, this is good to take control of the losses, assess your situation about what you can lose, come to a truce, come to a compromise, and that will help you regain your position in the future. Right now, you may feel helpless, but all you have to do is just pray and pass this time. This is not a negative time. Consider it as a vacation for your soul. Ascendant number 6, Virgo ascendant. In case of Virgo ascendant, Mars goes into the 11th house. Because in case of Virgo ascendant, Mars rules your 8th house as well as the 3rd house, which is 8th from 8th, Bhavat Bhavam. Going to the 11th house is actually going to transform your expectations in life. You will be as reassessing the situation where you have already put your sincere efforts, and this is the time when you should, if you're not, you should evaluate your avenues where you are actually giving extra amount of effort, because this is the time frame when you can actually transform your life by transforming what you expect, by transforming your social circle. You will definitely get not so positive feedback from your friends, from your network circle. You may rely on somebody that may ditch you at the last moment. Be careful because of this, because of all these circumstances. Trust can be a big issue. Trusting someone can be actually negative. 8th Lord in the 11th house means you will be concerned about your invested money. You will be concerned about the amount of profit that you can get from the invested money. Greed is going to turn your money into dust. So do not be greedy. Just reevaluate your finances, and if you have hit your target, pull your money out. For an average person, 11th house is also the house of elder brothers. 11th house is also the house of money, source of income. All those things will slightly make you uncomfortable. Good time to reevaluate all those things. Maybe it will be good that you start upgrading yourself by learning something, because 5th house is the house of learning, and this is the aspect of exaltation of Mars. So actually Saturn is under the aspect of exaltation of Mars, which means that things will move in your favor if you learn. Educate yourself and maybe upgrade yourself, learn some new skill, and this will transform your life in ways you cannot even imagine. Overall, for Virgo ascendant, I will say the transit is really beneficial. The 7th ascendant is Libra. For Libra, Mars will be in the 10th house. Saturn, 7th aspect on the Mars in the 10th house is going to put you into a position where the responsibilities of the home and the responsibilities of the career will conflict, and this conflicting responsibilities will put you into a dilemma. You should be very careful and trust your instinct. Don't fight this, but try to understand why it is happening in the first place. If you start fighting, it will only put you into frustration. It will only give you frustration, and you will be under an assumption that things will be fine in future, but it will be not. Rahu in the 8th house put you into a situation where transformation is actually not a real transformation. Transformation is an apparent transformation. So trust only that is something that is available right now. Don't believe what can happen in future. For you have to live in present. Otherwise, it can put you into a situation where your trust in the public can be lost, where your presence in society can be degraded, defamation can come, you will be having challenges in your career, you will not your energy towards work and office will reduce, and this will reduce your efficiency, and therefore the future is going to become very difficult for you in your career. So you have to be very, very careful from that angle. Mars aspects your first house. Procrastination will become the major issue of downfall in your life. Do not procrastinate. Don't think too much. There can be some financial issues, but reevaluating it, assessing it from a practical level, and leaving your comfort zone and putting extra hard work is going to be the key here. Don't focus on the problem, focus on solution. Scorpio ascendant. Scorpio ascendant is ruled by Mars, and your ascendant lord is debilitated in the 9th house. So definitely this is not that bad because it is the 9th house, and first lord in the 9th house is also a Raj Yoga. It will totally depend on where moon is today. So the days when moon is not in the zodiac sign of Taurus, Scorpio and Capricorn. When moon is in these three zodiac signs, you have to be extra cautious, extra careful. 9th house is the house of dharma. That means something that should be done in the way it should be done. When Mars goes there, you know what has to be done, but you don't know how to do, because you don't have the resources, you don't have the belief system, you don't trust yourself too much. The strength is simply not there. There is emotions in the mind, emotions in the heart. There is passion, but you cannot translate into a real-time action. That is a problem here, which therefore can result into losses, indecisiveness in almost every area of your life. Rahu in the 7th house can put you into a confusion about your life partner, or maybe the partner that you are trying to marry. You may be doubtful about your career, and this will help you seek help from a learned person. So seeking help from a family member, taking advice from a family member, taking advice from a person whom you think can be a guru is going to be beneficial in this time frame. When Mars' 4th aspect falls on the 12th house, your desire to travel will increase. The frustration to be in the home can also come out, and that can put you into a risk of catching disease. You know what I'm talking. 6th lord is in the 9th house. Be very careful to travel in these next 2 months. If possible, do not travel, do not expose yourself, and protect yourself as much as you can. 9th house is the house of dharma. Mars is energy. Put your energy into dharma. And because Mars is not in a fire sign, Mars is in a water sign, this is bhakti yoga. When this is bhakti yoga, try to put your mind into the devotion of God. Surrender yourself. Ketu is also in Anuradha Nakshatra, another video coming soon. This shows complete surrender. So the only way out for you is surrender to the divine. The next ascendant is Sagittarius ascendant. In case of Sagittarius ascendant, if you see, Mars isn't going to be in the 8th house. So definitely you will be scared about the uncertainties of life, and or you will be too complacent to check on the events that can come because of your own action. You have to be very careful about your money. Your money will be invested on you. So that is not a bad thing. See, if you are investing money on yourself, on your own growth, it's actually good for you. But this will deplete your invested money. So this is the best time when you bring an investment that takes away the wealth from your savings account, but it locks the money somewhere in a positive way, say FD, 5 years of FD, or some insurance, and this will ensure your future. But meanwhile, in the present time, you will see that your bank account has been reduced. This is a way by which you can manage uncertain losses, unexpected amount of losses. Because Ketu is also in the 12th house in Anuradha Nakshatra, you may feel lonely, you may feel detached with energies, but this is kind of okay. For you, this transit is not that bad if you put your energy into occult sciences, if you put your energy into spiritual practices. Mars' 4th aspect onto 11th house will only make you concerned about your money, because because you have invested, now you see you don't have wealth. So wealth generation will become a primary factor in this case. Chanting Lakshmi mantra, chanting Kuber mantra is going to be very helpful in this time frame. And because Mars 8th aspect falls on the 3rd house, which is 8th from 8th, definitely you need to be more careful about unexpected events in your life. So you have to prepare for the rainy days. But if your Mars in your horoscope is quite positive, you don't need to worry, because your own horoscope will take care of it. But if your Mars in your horoscope is itself in 6, 8 or 12 house, then you have to be extra careful about your health. because this Mars in the 8th house, which is not so strong, is like a policeman without any equipment, is trying to go into an unknown territory. You don't know what will happen. Maybe nothing will happen, and maybe a lot of things can happen. So this kind of uncertainty, invisibility of the planet is going to be somewhat challenging. But on the other hand, Mars is also causing a Viparita Raj Yoga. The 12th Lord is in the 8th house. So this means that if you handle this time properly, if you handle it with controlling your emotion, if you have a control on your emotions, and if you can manage with practical mindset, any eventuality will actually convert into a positive event in the near future. Investment is going to be a good idea in this time frame. Learning a new language is going to be the key here. Overall, for Sagittarius, I will say this is a transformation that you cannot see. You will see whatever happened, you will see the result of the transformation in the near future. Capricorn Ascendant. Now, in case of Capricorn Ascendant, you see that Saturn is retrograde on your first house and Mars is debilitated in the 7th house. So definitely for marriage related issues, it is going to be negative. You will have to be extra cautious, and because this is going to make you more sentimental, more touchy, and because Saturn is a retrograde in the first house, you might not know what you are saying, what you're doing, your actions that can go unnoticed, at least by your own identity, by your own self. Too much of ego, too much of pride will be negative in your case. Although 11th Lord is in the 7th house, so this is a good time to think about expansion of business, but only think about expansion, not implement it. 4th Lord is also in the 7th house, so the primary area of concern will become the 7th house in this case. And your attitude towards 7th house. What is 7th house? Your surroundings. How does surroundings impact you? 7th house is marriage. What is the role of marriage in your life? How important is marriage for you? Are you trying to get married, or if you are married and you are facing any issue in life? All these things will come under scrutiny. Also, 7th house is the house of business, and it is also the house that is also known as contractual houses. Any kind of contract, legal agreements are seen from 7th house. All that areas have to be re-evaluated, but not with stress, but with proper analysis. If you take stress, a debilitated Mars cannot handle that stress. You will become so uncomfortable about your own expectations, from home. Your domestic environment will become so negative that you would want to run away from that environment. If you have that kind of tendency, it will only be aggravated in this time frame. And when Mars goes into the Ashlesha, especially after 25 degrees in the sign of Cancer, some negative events can happen that will be unpleasant for you. But it is not a negative transit, because Kendra Lord is in Kendra, 4th Lord is in the 7th house, and Cancer is the zodiac sign where Jupiter gets exalted, and Jupiter is not a negative planet. Also, 11th house is not a negative house for you. When Ketu is in Anuradha Nakshatra in 11th house, that means you need to follow. So you listen to a lot of preaching of Sadguru, of divine people. Listen to discourses, and that will help you gain a lot of strength. If you don't know anyone, or if you don't like any kind of discourse, at least you can listen to Bhagavad Gita chanting, because that will give you necessary life teaching and will pull you out from any kind of negative thought, negative emotion, depression, and will give you the sanity of mind to take necessary steps. Another thing is Rahu and Sun at the time of Mars transit will be in the 5th house, so too much of knowledge is also bad for you, or I will say assuming that you know is going to be detrimental for you. So don't assume, be very practical. For the Aquarius ascendant, Mars will be in the 6th house, so it is actually not good for your health and also not good for your career. You will feel trapped, and you will feel that there is an enemy or unsaid enemy or hidden enemy who is actually trying to sabotage your plans, and this can create your doubts. That doubt can lead into restless night, anxiety, depression, fear of unknown, and a fear of loss. All those things can come across as a negative emotion, negative energy that will always keep you on the toes, and you will only feel that your future is in darkness and things might not move ahead for you. But actually that's not the case. Reason, Jupiter is on your ascendant. Till 20th of June, Jupiter will be on your ascendant direct. After that, Jupiter will become retrograde. Whatever happens, Jupiter is on your ascendant during this Martian transit. Trust yourself, because you will lose your trust. You will believe on other people. You will believe on uncertain, imaginary circumstances, assumptions, and events that cannot happen, but you will assume or imagine it to be happening. Imaginary events are going to be a problem for you. You will definitely have concern about your career, the role which has been given to you, because the biggest problem with you will in this time frame will be, what role are you fulfilling in society. You will be very, very unhappy about your own position in your life right now. That is okay, because this kind of feeling will give you a chance to reevaluate, and maybe it will be helpful for you, because Jupiter is giving the necessary guidance. But this is not the time to take an action. This is the time to reevaluate. This is the time to correct it, but not by action, but by through proper analysis. And when Mars goes into the sign of Leo, then you can take the necessary correction measures. But this time you have to be very careful about your own efforts. Conflict with brothers can increase, and if you're already facing any kind of conflict, you have to be very, very careful. Be careful from water. Don't go near to the lake, ocean, river. Be very cautious on that angle, and try to drink plenty of water and give water to small animals. Give service and save water, conserve water, spread this awareness message, and that is going to give you a lot of positives, because your actions are being put into positive and optimistic directions. Overall, this is going to be a mixed transit for you, and you have to be slightly careful about your health and about your role in the society. Don't take unnecessary action. Do not do anything in hurry. The final ascendant, Pisces ascendant. You are a water ruled zodiac sign, and Mars goes into the 5th house, aspected by the 11th house. Now this is a very emotional transit for you, because this will only put you into a situation where you're more concerned about your future, your productivity in life, the way you express. So this is the time when you can actually be very vulnerable to negative emotions. You will, in order to open up, you may break down. What you should do is, you should find the right person with whom you can talk. And for the next 2 months, you should be very clear, open, and straightforward. And that person should not judge you. It's just like you are just opening up. If you don't know, you can talk to a counselor or a healer, and that will help you. 5th house is the house of expression, higher order expression. It is also Purva Punya. It is also Mantra Bhava. And 5th house is also past life good karma. It is also the house of children. All these areas are going to get impacted because of Mars. And therefore, something that happens in your family, some insecurity, is going to put you into a situation where you're thinking too much. And you're thinking too much about productivity of that event, whether that will happen or not. In that case, you should remember one thing. Karmanneva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Your task is only to do karma. So the Karma Yoga chapter of Bhagavad Gita should be read every single day for the next 45 days. That will give you a new boost, a new hope. Don't lose hope in this time, and don't put your efforts unnecessarily. Rahu in the 3rd house is going to push you, give you the illusion that yes, you can do. See, things are not happening. You have to push. This unnecessary push has to be avoided before doing anything. Evaluate whether it should be done in the first place or not. Before speaking anything, evaluate if that should have been said in the first place or not. And your expectations are not getting fulfilled. That is understood, because 11th Lord is retrograde. You are losing friends. Understandable, because 11th house is not in a good shape. But a retrograde Saturn is also said as Saturn who filters. And this filtering process is also necessary for you. What you should do? You should pray to Lord Hanuman. You should pray to Ma Mahalakshmi. And you should pray the Mangala Bij mantra or Angarak Stotra is also sometime beneficial for you. If this Mars is actually putting you into some sort of mental dilemma, then you should chant Chandra mantra. Chandra Bij mantra is also going to be very helpful in this time frame. Mantra is going to be one way where you can bring out the positive energy within you, and you should not lose hope. You should always stand out, bring out your personality, bring out your true self, and don't feel weak, because this is the time frame when you will feel stronger. Because when Mars will go out of this Cancer and go to the sign of Leo, you will win. your difficult time. You will win over your enemies, and Jupiter will help you in the longer time frame. Financially, this is not a good time. Financially, Jupiter is going to be retrograde in the 12th house in the near future. So financially, you have to be extra cautious. Overall, I will say this is a very vulnerable and emotional time for you. Drink plenty of water, and if you can do Varuna Mudra every day for 3 minutes, it will be helpful for you. So friends, that was a brief analysis of Mars transit in the sign of Cancer. Definitely Mars is a fighter planet, and when in Cancer, Mars finds a very homely environment. Mars will say, what am I doing here? My task is in the border. I want to fight the war. I don't want to sit in the comfort of home, and that puts Mars into the state of debilitation. But if Mars accepts that as a vacation, because even a soldier needs rejuvenation, even a soldier needs relaxation, no matter who you are, you will have to sleep. Consider this as a sleep and the leisure activity of Mars. Don't get too emotional about it. Things might put you into a situation where you are very emotional, very vulnerable, very sensitive to things. But then you have to understand that anything that happens during the next couple of months will only upgrade you in the near future. Accept it, show gratitude to the universe, and affirm that I am positive, I am happy, and God is with me. Repeat these 3 words 11 times every day. Hope this will bring you the positivity that you need in life. Thank you guys for watching Punneit's Astrology. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, namaste.